Stanley. Are you in a mood? People that have questions that like have shady behaviors anyway, they're just like getting farther in the shade. I think. Oh, what a weird, peculiar day. I already did a talk this morning, talk for an hour, but I feel like saying some more stuff. Kind of a in continuation. I'm trying to get this light to turn to clear. Good boy, Tuck. He said, Mom, making it comfy, Mom. Got it, bud. You like the lights? There it is. Found it. Whew. Just push buttons and will for your way. Push buttons and make it happen. Will it? I want the white light. There it is. Will it? Make it happen. Instant manifestation. Freaking spiritual posers. What? Orange colors? There's these. No, this is pink. They're little pink lights. Or peach. And then I have the white. It's like stars and stripes, like red and white, you know, because everybody's so patriotic. Everybody cares so much about America. I freaking mock everything. I don't know why anybody takes me serious. She's so angry. That's like what controllers say, because I hate that people recognize me as an angry person. Like I am freely trying to express my frustrations and people aren't receptive to it. So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go down to where they are and then be like, you're a dumbass, you know, just like I'm not gonna get my way in life anyway. No, I turn the other cheek. I really am learning. I think it's helping me in my older age to turn the other cheek. I did it today. I did it this morning. Good boy, Tuck. Good boy, Tuck. Yeah, tired old man. So, this morning, I had to call AAA. And oftentimes, these big companies, you're just calling a call center someplace else. It's not even, it's just like, you know, these people are mad that they make $13 an hour, you know, this is not where they wanted to be, and sometimes they take it on the people that call. And I called this morning to get service for a tow truck to have my Suburban taken in early this morning. The shop wanted there by 8, and I was like, well, I'll have it in by, I'll shoot for that. But it probably won't happen. Anyway, so the guy that Emmanuel at AAA, that I just call the number that's on my card. And Emmanuel answered, and I could tell real quick that he and I aren't going to be chummy, and that just get through the call. Just get through the call without like freaking having this guy hang up on me. Because he already decided he didn't feel like talking to me, like from the get-go. From the first thing I said, yeah, I just, before we get started, I want to let you know that I tried to update my address on the app. Because I have the AAA Auto Club app, and I went in and tried to change my address like I've done before. And they call. What is on my face? It's driving me crazy. And because I've used AAA like twice, 3 times in the last year since I've lived here. Twice for sure. Today was the 3rd time with the van, and so I tell people where the errors are, and they don't do anything to fix it. So now the world's full of errors because people don't want to be corrected because they're mental midgets. Anyway, so I said I tried to update my address. It said I can't do it in the system, and I need to let you guys know. And he said, "What's the?" And he was rushing me. He was rushing me. Now I was on. I talk on the phone on my headsets. Now, I was in customer service for a long time. And instead of, as you know, part of customer service, you want to make their experience pleasurable, a positive experience. So if someone on the other end is loud, I'm gonna turn down the volume of my phone. Problem solved. The guy said that I was yelling, and he said if I continued to yell that he was going to terminate the call. And I was like really taken back. So what I did is I brought not only my volume down, but I started speaking really slow to him, so that I would make sure he was getting it. Because he was being a fucking dick is what he was doing. And I was just like, Marge, just get through the call. Just get through the call. And I had a cup of half and half coffee too. So I'm like, I'm jetting inside. I'm just like, just take it easy, right? Don't let this guy get your goat. This is good practice. So I said at one point I said I'm on a headset and there's a lot going on around me, so I don't know that it's loud to you. I said, so and then at the end, after I explained that, I even took him off of my headset and put him on speaker and Mom wasn't up yet. So it was quiet. And then he still threatened to terminate the call if I don't stop yelling. And I said, now I'm just like, he's just now it's clear to me what's happening. Now it's clear. I'm the asshole magnet. And let's do things different, Marge. Let's try it different. So at the end of the call, he set up the service. At the end of the call, he said, "Is there anything else that I can do for you?" I said, "Yeah, I will go ahead and transfer me to your supervisor." And then he was like, "Oh, snap." Because I'm not a dummy. And I think maybe he's used to talk, maybe he's like some superior genius of super intellect, and he's just working at a call center for AAA just to pay his bills. I don't know his circumstance, Emmanuel. So he put me on the hold, I was on hold for a second, and then he comes back on the line. He said, you're on hold from a supervisor, and you could tell his demeanor changed. And so a woman gets on the phone. "Hello, this is Danielle so-and-so. Can you verify?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "First of all, I tried to give him my correct address. He sent the truck driver to the incorrect address. But the truck driver calls. Or the dispatcher at the truck driver place, she verified the address before the truck driver called. And then the truck driver remembered me from last time, so we're cool here on the local end, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I just want to let you know that Emmanuel might need some additional training. You see, I'm not so neurotypical. And I don't think like a lot of people, and I do a lot of stuff, so I talk on my headset, and he kept saying I was yelling. And see, one of my concerns is I wasn't yelling, and I wonder how many people got left stranded someplace because Emmanuel didn't like their tone. And she said, I said, he kept saying, and she said, no, she said, I hear you loud and clear, and your voice is clear and concise. I don't, and she assured me that it doesn't sound like you're yelling to me, and that she was going to review the call. And I said, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I understand a lot of men, like, you can tell people's personalities on the phone. I can tell people's personalities on the phone. So this man is talking to a strong woman, and so many men feel so small within the oven by themselves. Whatever they tell, it's between them and their maker, and they do not like strong women. And when they come across a strong woman, they do whatever they can to try and put them in their place. And I'm telling this to the guy's supervisor. And she said, and she was incongruent with everything I was saying, without trying to throw her insubordinate under the bus. Understand, she was still being professional. So this afternoon, it's funny, the song came up, and the woman that wrote the song, sang the song, performed the song, maybe she didn't write it, but she died a couple days ago. But she was in her 70s, so she had a good long life. So I got an email this afternoon at 12:40. And now it says the message cannot be displayed because a problem repeatedly occurred. The good news is I take a lot of screenshots, so I got it right here. And I got this email, and it said, "Dear valued member, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to report your emergency roadside service experience. In reviewing your recent service request, we noted that our response to your service request did not meet your expectations and our standards. Our goal is to provide a service request that is totally satisfying to our members." Basically said, she listened to the recording, said, yeah, he was a D-bag, and we're acknowledging that he was a D-bag. That is what I get. We value your membership, and that's cool to me. Because I don't recall any other company in recent or far history that has ever come back and said, you know what, we were wrong. When I was the employee at so many places that I've worked, that I've gone to people, my bosses would be baffled, even when I was in the military, because I always I would admit when I fucked up. And people are just adamant about freaking not about denying plausible, whatever, about taking accountability. We're just supposed to be learning in the life, but people are trying to act like they're perfect and stuff. It's weird. So then, the tow truck driver, as soon as he gets on the phone with me, he's like, "I knew I recognized your voice." And we always chatted up and stuff. Yeah, I chatted up more. See, that's the thing. People can color me an obnoxious a-hole all they want, and that's fine. I'll whatever. That don't bother me. I've been called everything, by people that matter to me. So I don't really care about what people that don't. Anyway, so more people on this planet have had positive experiences with me than negative, and I don't know a whole lot of people. I mean, except for the NPCs, but they don't really count in the equation. They're just little meepers. So, I call about as soon as the bourbon left on the tow truck. I call to let the shop know it's on the way. I'm like, okay, it's coming, right? And then, I can't do my regularly scheduled day because, I can't lay down and meditate because I don't want to be interrupted. So it's like, I'm always on edge when there's pending things that I have to do. When I gotta do 3D shit, I freaking can't stand it. So I'm waiting, and usually, I mean, my car's been in and for other stuff, they've been in the shop twice. So it's like, okay, I have it towed in on a Monday. Somebody looks at it, and somebody calls anywhere between 11:30 and 1 o'clock, and they say, this is what's wrong with it, and this is how much it costs. And if I have enough money, I say, okay, go ahead and take care of it. But I gotta know. I mean, like, rent's coming up. I mean, come on, man, I'm proactive human being. I know I live in Taos, and it's like a freaking natures are proactive because people are so not, and this story is gonna give more evidence of this. So finally I was just like, I gotta go decompress this energy, man. It's making me I feel nutty. Like, I talked to my earth angel for like an hour and a half. I can't keep holding her up. I don't know. I already did a live for an hour. Like, I don't want to freaking just be calling people all day. So I'm like, I'm gonna go try and meditate state or something. And so I went in and I laid down, and because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, I have a feeling. I said, they're just not gonna call today. And so I said, but you know what, Marge, you can keep wondering, or you can call back. So maybe it was a little bit earlier than that. So this afternoon, it was like 2 o'clock. $144 I call. And I say, some young dude answered, and he had kind of an accent, like Spanish or something. And I don't know. People have accents. I don't go by ethnicity. I'm just like, either I can understand them or I can't. And he was talking really fast. I say, I'm calling to see if anybody looked at the Suburban yet. And he said, yeah, but she was going to write up the estimate and call you back, and she's on lunch. And I'm like, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's whatever. Maybe she had a doctor's appointment, didn't come. But they have a text number that they call you to remind you on Friday. They'll say, okay, you're going to have your car here by 8 o'clock on Monday. A reminder, right? So I sent them at 5:03. I sent them a text message to that number and said, nobody ever called me with an estimate or told to I just left it at that. But like, no, people don't communicate. You know why people get paid and make a lot of money in business in Taos? Because they hold people over a barrel. Because they have no choice, because there's such limited places to go. It's like you gotta just put up with people's freaking crappy, unprofessional behavior. I mean, you can't tell me that somebody couldn't get on the phone and tell me what the wrong was wrong with my car in freaking 8-9 hours? Like, what? You're just, customer service is dead. And so I got to go back to that place and use all the training of all the cliches that people have always told me, and just just not have any expectations at all in life. At all. And go back to, it's completely divine. And people really have no control or say in the course of history, because they can't even do acts of service that they get paid twice as much as I would have to pay somebody. And I could do this stuff myself if I had a place to do it. Because I'm not the one that's going to crawl around on the ground anymore. If I had a garage, that's a different story. But like, my body hurts too much. Like, why do I got to suffer to take care of my shit? Why should anybody have to suffer? I mean, there's there's people flying from freaking the Bay Area to, like hops in private jets because they don't want to, deal with traffic because they're oh so important. While people on the street don't even have freaking socks and like their flesh is rotting. And you know why people do drugs? Because they're really freaking sad. They're really sad, and they think they're the only one that's sad like that. And if they're allowed to talk about why they're sad, all they have to do sometimes is to relate to other people, and sad people get less sad when they do that. When they feel like that they're not the only person in the world that feels the way that they do. Guaranteed there. I mean, I went to freaking AA for years. I've heard the worst of the worst of the worst, and these people are like heroes, they kill people and they're just, oh yeah, you're not doing that anymore, I mean, like the raunchier the story the better, and I mean, there's a lot of principles in that I picked up and I carry with me every day to keep me from picking up the demons that I get in bottles. And yes, people get demons. People can catch demons like they can catch freaking viruses and colds. And they have no comprehension of this because that's woo woo or that's on TV. And maybe they're starting to wake up and realize that, you know what? They put the stuff on TV so they can do this stuff in real life to see what the Nielsen's are going to focus on, see what the mainstream is going to focus on. And then it happens in real life because, hey, they bought, and then they use the fact that it was on TV or in a movie as a defense. No, that doesn't happen in real life. It's on TV. You see that in the movies. And people just buy it. Oh, okay. The stuff people just buy blindly because of tradition, because they were told, because they were sat on some pappy's lap someplace and pappy said, this is how it is. And, it was the fact that there was like camaraderie and care and love between two individuals, while there is a game on. And then people get stuck in that vibration. And then Pappy starts drinking and then, get out of here, brat, you bug me, and things turn. But the kid remembers that solace moment with the game on where that they shared stuff. And then they go the whole rest of their life chasing that time on Pappy's lap. And look at the industry today. It's all merging with entertainment. It's all demons and rituals and people just love buying it up, hook, line, and sinker. As long as I don't have to help anybody else, as long as I can just go around and live that best version of my life, people are going to spend freaking tens and thousands of dollars on tickets for the stupid Super Bowl. I always thought it was funny that my brother always met with his fraternity brothers for a number of years. For like 10, 15 years. Every year they'd go to Tahoe. Wonder what kind of weird shit they did in the bushes with he and his Kappa Sig Pi freaking, bros. It's all a fraternal order of bullshit, It's all clubs. It's all, we have this secret special knowledge and we benefit from it, but you are our minions and because you are beneath us because of your, what? I don't know, color of your skin, part of the world that you were born onto. Who you love. I mean, people just make shit up. Is why other people are beneath them. It's bizarro. I ain't big into the hierarchy, It ain't never benefited me. Yeah, I got the right blood, but for some reason, because I got Chiron and Aries, that it doesn't do me any good. I've known all these people that have told me how important they are. I'm so, these are my titles. These are my letters after I'm so important. And it's like, they still, like, they're still not very generous people of the heart. And to me, all those other things don't matter. If people aren't generous of the heart, I don't care how much money people make. I don't care how much stuff they have. They're NPCs to me, people that are non-generous of the heart. The withholder, it's a lower vibrational frequency that I'm not going to pay no mind to. People deserve better. People need to do better for themselves, and they will do better for others. It's just kind of how it is when they're generous of the heart. But look how many non-for-profits, the whole government exists to, the whole military exists because they have interjected into society the notion of security. And that somebody somewhere is going to stand up and do something to make sure that they can sleep good every night. It ain't that world anymore. I know people. I'm grateful that it has. I hasn't stuff like that has it. God's protected us, but like my last my landlord and my D-bag landlord in Oregon, she woke up from one of her pill hazes, and some guy was standing in her house. I mean, that's in Oregon. That shit happens all the time. People get. That's the thing is like people get hurt because they're not they're not allowed to talk about their feelings. Everybody's like, shut up, stuff it, be it, whatever, be an adult, whatever. Nobody wants to hear you, and then so they take drugs and then they do freaking wacky weird shit. Because they don't have positive outlets and they were never taught, just why don't you, meditate, teach. Nobody's ever taught them freaking. And I had to go out and seek this shit, man. My inclination is to get face deep in a fifth. Something. Whiskey. I'm a whiskey girl. I like whiskey. Whatever. I'm a sloppy pig freaking drunk. I let the demons in. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if I hurt people's feelings. People, that's their own problem. I mean, on my earlier videos, I after being sober for 14 years, I moved to Oregon. My life blew up. I blew up my life. And then, I went out and drank for like 7 months. And then had another moment of clarity and then stopped that crazy nonsense. Because as selfish as I might be, I'm not selfish enough to freaking do something that in 2 years, the way I drank, I'd likely be dead. Or under, because I'd freaking probably fall down, crack my head open, And Mom would end up in a home and she'd be short to follow because, I mean, we, she keeps me going, I keep her going. It's cooperation is nature's way. You don't put. See, you don't put your loved ones in home. You just don't. You take care of your own. And if you don't, the society should be set up in a manner to support people so that they could just be at home to take care of that loved one. Because there's always somebody somewhere to pick up the slack. And I got a lot of ideas, viable ideas. And I'm happy to see that other people are stepping up with their viable ideas too. And things are really changing here in New Mexico. Now, the trick of it is I'll reach out to, I got my eye on it. Because I don't, like, where would I go? Because I went to like a resource fair that they had for veterans, and I asked all these people at the table, like, where do I go to do this? Like, if I wanted to start a nonprofit of my own, the 4951 or something, I don't work because I the paperwork is just a nightmare to me, and it's just they keep people like me out of doing stuff like that. I need someone to help me. Where do I find someone to help me to even start? Because people don't like. I don't know. They don't like accommodating my needs. Or they're just gave up on themselves and they don't like doing their jobs. I don't know. It's hard to differentiate. Yeah, I could sit down and once I could talk with people, get a feel, but usually people feel bad about their lives and their situation and their lot in life, and they like to take it out on other people. I can understand that. I can relate to that. I've been there. I also understand the consequences of that happening. I did have some good sponsors, or in my life to teach me things like don't have buttons, don't have expectations. They push my buttons. They do this stuff on purpose to get me to react. And they're like, yeah, they're pushing your buttons up. Or don't give them, reason. And my whole life, my people have antagonized. My own brother would just freaking antagonize me, and I would get in trouble because people that don't have emotions, people, psychopaths, narcissists, you know, they all day long they know how to pick at the emotion, and you can't ever do anything to pick back at them because they have no emotion. So you can't hurt their feelings because they don't have any, you know? And they treat people like cats treat mice. I once heard that mice let off a smell when they're scared, and that cats, it's like catnip to them. So a cat will toy with the mouse and not kill it, because as soon as you kill it, it stops emitting that aroma, and they like it. So they'll just a cat toying with the mouse. And people, there's freaking sicko, twisted people, and they do worse than just, antagonize. They do way worse. I had teachers in life, from an early age, keep your hands to yourself. Don't ever put your hands on other people. And I take that to a step farther. Is just I don't touch. I'm a touchy feely person. I'm a huggy person. I don't touch people without permission. And if I accidentally get excited and do, I apologize, and I explain that I'm touchy feely, and then I'll keep my hands to myself. And usually people say you're okay. I clarify a lot, because people don't understand. All you have to do is touch somebody. It's a freaking condescending act. It's like putting somebody. It's also that too. That's not what my intention is. Some people do it like that. Like, now, you're being over emotional. Calm down. All that shit. How much, I learned when I was in the Air Force that if you touch somebody, that if they want to, they could. The base police told me this, because I was drinking with my buddy who I worked with in the Air Force. We were in base housing, and he was at work, and I was drinking beers with his wife. And the neighbor said the music was too loud, so they called the SPs. And I went, I'm sorry, we didn't mean it. And I touched her arm. And the cop said, no, that you can't touch anybody because it's assault. And so I was like, well, that definitely, emphasizes my rule of thumb of, not touching anybody without permission. Huh, bud? Oh, I didn't give you your pill yet, huh? Oh, snap. Said, Mom, you gotta give me my pill, Mom. I'm an older man and I needed my pills. Good boy, Artie Pants. So I haven't been on social media very much. Oh, I even told the guy when I called the shop, I even let him know, I said, I live in a weird place and service isn't real good, so I wanted to make sure that you guys, I didn't miss your call. And he's like, and then, yeah. I mean, I cover my bases. I've learned so much for so long how to cover my ass, because people are so unaccountable. It's kind of weird. Anyway, so I think I've talked enough. I've been here long enough talking. I just wanted to get in. So the story continues. We'll have a continuance soon. of how much it's gonna cost. You know, it's just weird. Everything is divine. Like when stuff is supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen. But and shame on me for having that expectation that because the other two times the experience was somewhat similar, that there's a precedence or a standard that's been established of any sort. I forget where I'm at. I'm back in the 90s is the timeline that I'm on, because this place probably hasn't changed much since then. No, they do have sidewalks now. They were supposed to get sidewalks. They got like a $5 million grant back in the 1970s for the handicap initiative or act, or one of the rules they pay, those laws that they implement to pay themselves to do things. Well, they never did the work, and they're like, if you don't put in sidewalks and handicap accessibility and stuff like that in your town on the main street, then you're gonna have to pay back the money that we gave you to do that. And they're like, oh shit. So it took them 5 years to do a stretch a mile. It's about a mile. Yeah, about a mile. Maybe a little over a mile. They really milked it, man. They really know how to milk stuff here in New Mexico. It's like they put more effort into like doing minimal work to like, how can I do less? How can I serve people less and get so as much as I possibly can? You know what? It doesn't really matter. None of it matters because the civilization is collapsing anyway. So I'm just gonna sit back and watching. It's about all I got.